Hey, thanks for joining me to get your day started with a biblical perspective. Here we go. Last episode, we talked about how our biblical understanding impacts our discipline of self-control. Today, we're back in 2 Peter 1, 3 through 6, and we're focusing on steadfastness. Peter says, "For this very reason, to make every effort to supplement your faith with virtue, and virtue with knowledge, and knowledge with self-control, and self-control with steadfastness." What word illustration comes to mind when you picture steadfast? Okay, I don't know if you've seen Pocahontas, like the old one, but the picture that comes to my mind is when the ship is out and then like the lightning strikes and it becomes a huge storm and the ship is just like going back and forth and all around the water, and everyone basically hunkers down, and then John Smith actually jumps in and saves that one guy, which John Smith was like a boss. But anyways, I just picture like a huge storm with like a big sturdy ship just like sailing through it. According to dictionary.com, steadfast means to be fixed or firm in a direction or purpose, unwavering. It is steady. In this world, it certainly feels like we're supposed to go wherever the wind blows. We're expected to submit and live accordingly to the inconsistent rules in many different aspects of life. Social issues, medicine, education, and the influence of social media promoting a life of fickleness while falsely advertising how much greener the grass is. And I'm kind of waiting for the day when 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 4 anymore because someone finds it offensive. The influence of the world is everywhere and it's in everything, and it's the complete opposite of steadfastness. The world wants us to believe false realities, be unsteady, live a directionless life, be disloyal to foundational truths of the world, and be faithless to our God. In contrast to the world's suggestions of how we live, we need to remember, where does our steadfastness come from? Hebrews 6:19 reminds us, "So when God desired to show more convincingly to the heirs of the promise the unchangeable character of his purpose, he guaranteed it with an oath, so that by the two unchangeable things in which it is impossible for God to lie, we who have fled for the refuge might have strong encouragement to hold fast to the hope set before us. We have this as a sure and steadfast anchor of the soul, a hope that enters into the inner place behind the curtain, where Jesus has gone as a forerunner on our behalf." Our ability to remain steadfast is because we have an anchor in our soul. God has guaranteed his promise of salvation through his unchanging character. God is steady. He is the ultimate example of being steadfast. Our souls can cling to this hope through our assurance of our salvation. Many of us are probably familiar with the story of Ruth, pretty much a love story just wrapped in the Old Testament, one that many of us love. But one person that I feel like is slightly overlooked in this story is Naomi. Not that Ruth wasn't important, but Naomi had a little importance too. Naomi and her husband and her 2 sons had to leave their home of Judah due to a famine. After they moved to a foreign land of Moab, she was widowed. Her sons married, and Naomi had to rely on her sons to provide for her. Her sons and their wives did not have any children. After some time, Naomi lost both her sons, leaving her and her 2 daughter-in-laws left with very uncertain futures. After experiencing extreme loss, Naomi decided to go back to Judah. Upon arriving home, she was open and honest about how she was feeling. She said to them, "Do not call me Naomi, call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me. I went away full, and the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi when the Lord has testified against me and the Almighty has brought me to calamity?" Naomi felt the Lord was against her. She was tired. She was empty. She was bitter. However, even being in this awful situation and having all these emotions, she still believed in the Lord. She did not walk away. Even in her feelings of betrayal, she was steadfast. I would like to emphasize here, steadfastness does not always mean happy or bliss. It means unwavering. As she was working through her grief and her bitterness towards the Lord, Naomi was steadfast. She didn't walk away. Maturing in our calling is a lifelong journey. There are times when our reaction to life is not going to be joyful or easy. We may feel the Lord is against us. Nothing is working out, or nothing is working out how we thought it should or believed it should. Naomi's story encourages us to remain steadfast. God is working, and in our time of difficulty is not in vain, although sometimes it feels like it might be. David says in Psalms 51, "Let me hear joy and gladness. Let the bones that you have broken rejoice. Hide your face from my sins and blot out all my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. What bones has the Lord broken in you, friends? Maybe it's grieving a life you thought you would have. Maybe it's missing out on a job you know you'd be perfect for. Maybe it's the loss of someone you love dearly. Or just busyness in life has made you bitter at the chapter you're in. Eventually, as David says, the bones the Lord has broken can rejoice. The bitterness and grief can be used to make you steadfast and mature in your calling. David also asked the Lord to renew a steadfast spirit within him. Just like Naomi, we've all been tired, empty, and bitter. But we all have the divine power of the Lord to come to our aid. We just need to ask. I hope you can find encouragement that even in a tough time and as we work through some hard emotions, the Lord is giving us the opportunity to mature in our calling by clinging to the anchor of our soul and have peace to remain steadfast even in a time of bitterness. So friends, what season of life are you in today? Is your life filled with excitement? Are you just really busy? Does life feel mundane, or are you dealing with grief? Is your season of life just filled with a lot of fun? Being a woman, I think we can relate to all seasons on any given day. But wherever you fall today, or even wherever you fall just in this moment, we can all reflect on the following. Have you allowed the world's mentality to influence your value of being steadfast? Have you allowed your salvation to be the anchor of your soul? And has this influenced your reaction to difficulty? Do you have any broken bones the Lord is healing that can be used in your life to bring maturity and joy? Thanks for listening, friends. I wanted to also let you know that this is on Apple Podcasts, and I did get it on Spotify, although it's just going to be last episode and on. So you won't find all of them there, but I'll start uploading them now. Have great days, and I will talk to you soon.